This is The Bouquet Toss, a wedding planning podcast brought to you by thebudgetsavvybride.com to help you decide what to keep and what to toss from your wedding day plans. Welcome back to The Bouquet Toss. Today, we're fangirling a little bit because our guest is Ryan Cabrera, the platinum-winning singer-songwriter who brought us smash hits like On the Way Down, True, and Shine On.
His fifth full-length album is due out later this year, but first, he'll debut his new single called Worth It. We got a sneak preview and can absolutely say this will be the song of the upcoming wedding season. It is totally first dance-worthy and so sweet. Inspired by his now wife, Worth It is Ryan's love letter to the journey that led him to his soulmate. And the best part? The music video for Worth It features actual footage of Ryan's gorgeous wedding that he planned himself. We're so excited for the chance to sit down with Ryan to discuss his own wedding planning journey and, of course, his new music.
Welcome, Ryan.
Oh, thank you. Quite the intro. I like that.
We have to do you justice.
Y'all are so sweet.
So, okay, let's start off with, we're going to have people that think they know some stuff about Ryan Cabrera, right? But let's have some details that we might not know about you. So where are you from? Where's your wife from? Where did you guys choose to get married?
All the things. Well, for all the people who, may have no idea, I'm a singer-songwriter from Dallas, Texas. And my beautiful wife is from Columbus, Ohio. She is a WWE wrestler known as Alexa Bliss. And we just got married in April in Palm Desert, California. Actually, the weekend before Coachella, so it was quite interesting trying to plan around that. But so we planned it in Palm Desert. It was absolutely beautiful, very hot. We had I think one of the hottest weekends of April's ever recorded. So that was quite interesting, but it was amazing.
Did your guests get to easily go from your wedding to Coachella after?
Some people did, yeah. Some people stayed the week. They ended up getting their place, early because of the wedding, and was like, oh, perfect. Because now, typically when people are booking stuff for Coachella, if they do it late, they ain't getting a place. That's all. Everything sells out so quickly. But luckily, we planned this wedding for I want to say about a year and a half. So we gave ourselves plenty of time to make sure make sure there was enough hotels and Airbnbs and houses and all that kind of fun stuff. And then also too, I think it was important. We wanted to enjoy being engaged. We knew we were going to get married. It wasn't like, oh, okay, let's just get married, in 4 or 5 months. No, now that works for some people, but for us, we loved being engaged and knowing that we had something to look forward to for a while, and then take our time planning it, because there's a lot of things that come out of nowhere that you're like, oh my gosh, thank God we're not, we still have a year to figure that out, kind of thing.
I love that. I think it's, it's something that's a good reminder to everyone. You're only engaged for this finite amount of time. You only have so much time to call each other fiance, you know? And so really relish in that, and taking
Absolutely.
your time in the planning process gives you so many more options as well. So I love that.
Yeah. Enjoy being engaged. It's fun.
Yeah. So we also have heard that you were pretty involved in the planning, which is something that we love to see, because we're all about let's bust this idea that if you're getting married, a man and a woman, that the woman's going to do it all. Seems like you were a pretty involved member here. Can you talk about that?
Well, in our relationship, Lex is very easygoing, so she's usually just down for whatever, and I'm the planner and the organizer. I've always been kind of a host of people in LA know that I like having people over. I have dinner parties and game nights, and I like to plan things for friends. And so I've kind of been preparing to do something like this for my whole life. And I've always been a very, very hopeless romantic kind of guy. I love planning things, and I also am very, attentive, and I listen a lot. So in the beginning of me and Lex's relationship, I was always listening for little Easter eggs of things that I could kind of surprise her with later. And another thing too, I love surprising people, whatever it may be. I'll tell, a buddy or Lex that, we're going to, we're just going to go to a movie or something. And then the next thing, we're, at Coldplay, at the Hollywood Bowl, things like that. I love doing. So along our relationship, so fellas, if you are, one of those planners, and this can go, for the ladies as well, whether you're planning for your lady or your man, whatever it is, I always listen from the beginning of little things, and then I would bring them up later. And she'd be like, "Oh my God, how did you know I love that?" I'd be like, "Well, I remember on our second date, you mentioned this, and I kept that in the back of my head, not in like a crazy way, but with our relationship, I wanted to, when if we would go on dates or obviously one day get married, these are things that I could do for her at the wedding." But anyway, long story short, yes, I am the planner in the relationship, but I do it. I did a lot of it. Obviously we had a lot of help, and Lex was very involved with ideas. So everything that I did try to do, it was with her in mind, of things that, one, okay, I know she loves, boy bands. Too. I know she loves, Bowling for Soup, certain things like that, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna suggest this and see if she loves it. And obviously everything was with her in mind, and obviously myself, things that we both love as a couple and that we both love personally. So when it came down to actually the ideas and the planning, it wasn't that hard. But now when it comes down to the little things and the stuff that are, that we didn't know anything about, we hired a friend of ours, L. Anderson from LA Events, to kind of put it all together. She was the glue to make it all happen. Anyone that thinks that they can just do it all themselves is out of their mind, I think. So it was definitely, a team effort. But with, there were some things that I had to pull off, some strings I had to pull, that I was like, okay, if, one day when I do get married, got to somehow pull that off, kind of thing.
What were those things? Tell us.
Obviously, all of our friends performing at the wedding, I was like, "Hey, remember that time I did that charity show for your daughter's school, or blah blah. You want to pop up at our wedding and maybe perform a song or two?" So a lot of friends, graced us with incredible performances that I think will live on for a lifetime. A lot of people are like, "Why go to Coachella? Your wedding is pretty much a festival." But we based it around things like that we love. We both love music, obviously. So that was very, very important to us. We love games, so we're big gamers. So we had to have, at our cocktail hour, we had cornhole, we had giant life-size Connect Fours, Farkle tables, which is a dice game, stuff like that. We basically decided that from the second you walk in, we wanted everybody to have fun and let loose, and there not be a point to where someone could even attempt to say, "Well, that part, between this and this was kind of boring." So when you walked in, we had my friend who has a company called Bubble Tap Trailers, had these like trailers that have champagne kegerator type things. So the second you walk in, there's a kegerator of champagne. So people have, get just greeted with champagne. And then I had a live harp player. My friend Lexi performed. She played all these like covers with a harp, and she sings with it. So I called a favor from her. And then my buddy Tyler Ward, who I know Lexi was a big fan of, flew in, to perform at the beginning. So little Easter eggs, where people look over and be like, "Oh, wait, I recognize that. Wait, I know her from, YouTube," or things like that, to where they just start walking in and they're automatically having fun. And then, of course, obviously the NSYNC boys jumping up on stage was a highlight, because Lex got to get up and dance with them and do Bye Bye Bye. I feel like she's been, kind of training for that her whole life with Darren's dance groups.
Haven't we all?
Yes.
Like the rest of
Yes.
us. Yeah. And
Very
then,
good.
having Patron out there set up like, their photo booths, and like have obviously like having food trucks for us was a big yas. And we were all about those food trucks.
I love that. It
Yeah.
really sounds like you leaned a lot on your network, which is something we encourage couples to do in their planning process. You are fortunate to have lots of really talented friends that you were able to bring in and add to that like special, like personalized feel for your day.
Yeah.
And any couple can do that, no matter who their friends are. They might just not be as splashy as your circle.
Well, it doesn't matter who it is, as long as they're important to you, like that's what made it special. Obviously, writing a song like Worth It, Lexi walked down the aisle to Worth It. And we were like, okay, there's a lot of songs, that you could choose from, but we wanted something that was really special and unique to us. And what better way to do it than write a song for her? Now, obviously, everyone can't do that, but, you want to choose stuff that is unique to you. So for our first dance, one of her favorite songs, we're big Disney people as well, but one of her favorite Disney songs is Eye to Eye from a Goofy movie. So I was like, okay, how do we do something special with that? So I went into the studio and I recorded a slowed down wedding version of Eye to Eye for our first dance, and I surprised her with that. little things, little surprises just to make it unique. One of the things that made our wedding so special for us was that the rule was there are no rules. All these people trying to tell us, okay, but you have to do that and have to do that. And we were like, well, do we? Like, do you really have to do it this way or do it that way? And I think one of the things that people appreciated about our wedding was that, wait, that wedding was basically like just you guys. Everything was so y'all. One of the, I think my biggest pieces of advice when planning your wedding is just make it you. There is no rule. We knew it was going to be a shit show, and that was the theme of our wedding. It was called Welcome to the Shit Show. From the second you walked in, that's what it was all about. It was rock star themed. So we're like, wear whatever you want, let your freak flag fly. If there was ever a time to express yourself, this is the time to do it. So yeah, I mean that was basically the theme of our wedding. Our wedding was the rule was there is no rule.
We read an interesting note you had for your guests about the dress code, something
Uh-huh.
along the lines of Harry Styles. Like, do you want to share a bit more about that?
Yeah, we did we had a little WWHD kind of thing, like, and that goes for with for both male and female. What would Harry Styles do? What would Harry wear? Kind of thing.
Amazing.
And so people like would look up pictures, like, wait, I can wear this, and we're like, absolutely. We had. Well, here's what's funny is, so I've had a lot of I've messed with a bunch of friends before, and I have had instances where I've had parties that I would tell. I told one of my buddies, my old tour manager Adam, that it was going to be a costume party. So wear your best costume. And this was like a live charity like gala that I had at my house, like a live from Ryan's living room thing. And he showed up in a full New York Yankees baseball outfit, had the mitt, had the cleats, had everything from head to toe. And turned out it was not at all a costume party or a theme party. So there was a lot of people who have known me, kind of for that kind of stuff. We were like, wait, am I going to show up to this wedding and just look like a complete idiot? Is this really like what would Harry Styles wear? We're like, no, absolutely. Like, wear whatever you want. So they'd be like, is this okay? We're like, 100%. We're like, you can wear shorts if you want. Whatever makes you happy, be yourself and enjoy.
I mean, this is like music to our ears because this is exactly the advice we're always trying to give brides and grooms who are in that like pressure stage of planning their wedding. Everyone
Yeah.
feels beholden to these like rules and traditions, but we're always trying to be like, there literally are no rules.
Yeah.
Everything that you think you're being told that you have to do is just something that other people did because they did. And like, the only thing that makes you married is the actual marriage certificate. Exchanging your vows, doing that actual
Hmm.
thing. That's what makes you married. Nothing else does.
Right.
So, love that you're like a spokesperson for this no rules thing. Were there any specific wedding traditions that you were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that?
I mean, well, the way we did ours, we did a first look during the day, like after we got ready, because we wanted to do all of our pictures at a certain time and get them out the way so we could attend our cocktail hour. We wanted to be, because we're like, okay, this is one day of our life. It's going to go by so fast. Like, we didn't want there to be a point where we didn't attend any of this fun stuff that we've been planning for
Yeah.
a year and a half. And also, it's expensive. So we're like, okay, we're paying all this money. We want to be a part of every bit of it, because this
Yeah.
is, this is about, us getting married, but it's also about, us spending time with, the people that we love. So we wanted to spend as much time as possible. So we did a first look, and it was just as, powerful and epic, as, seeing her walk down the aisle, because even seeing her later walk down the aisle, it was even more special, because I was now anticipating that. So for anybody that thinks they have to do, well, no, I have to see them for the first time when they're walking down the aisle, it's a bad luck thing. I was like, yeah, luck is something, you decide. So we saw each other, and then we did pictures and stuff, because we had I want to say by the end, 17 grooms people and brides people. We call them people because we had guys, we had girls. So now trying to get photos with 17 people, like after the ceremony, could have been a nightmare. So we wanted cool photos to remember by. So during the day, we did all our pictures. And then also, there was one point like during sunset, we ran off real quick and took a couple like cool pictures there. To I think having a shot boy and shot girl go down the aisle first kind of set the tone for what was about to happen. I don't think that's very traditional.
So
We had
wait, Instead of a flower girl or whatever, can you explain more about that?
Well, to kick it off, yeah, we had two of our friends that that were in the wedding party. We deemed as shot boy and shot girl. They had buckets of Fireball to go down the aisle. They were threw out shots to the audience. Everybody was going crazy, and then it got a little more serious. We had three flower girls, which was amazing, and then we had the wedding party come down, and some of the wedding party was like, should we just walk down the aisle or should we look? We're like, dude, do whatever you want to do. If you want to dance down the aisle, dance down the aisle. If you want to kick, your shoe off, kick your shoe off. Just make it special. Like, well, we don't want to, overshadow the groom and the bride. We're like, you're not going to overshadow the groom and bride. Have you seen her? Look at her in her dress. Like, ain't nobody overshadowing that girl. So we're like, just be yourself, have fun, make memories. Also, be prepared for the unexpected, and going with that, our suits weren't ready in time. So for all the guys on me and Lexi's bridal party, the suits didn't come in. So the day before, we had everybody just go to Zara, pick up some pants. I was like, just grab some blue pants. It doesn't even matter what shade of blue. It doesn't matter if they match, whatever, as long as they're somewhat blue. And then we'll just have everybody go shirts. And if you want to wear a tie, wear a tie. If you don't wear a tie, don't wear a tie. As long as you're all doing it together, we're all in this together. And it ended up looking awesome. So that was an audible literally the day before.
Wow.
Where I was like, because if you have it in your mind, here's exactly how I want the pictures to look. Here's exactly how I want, this to look on that day. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Nothing is going to happen exactly the way you want it to happen. Nothing is going to be perfect. As long as you know that going in, then there's nothing, you need to stress about. Let whatever happens. It was a record-breaking heat that day. So we have DJ White Shadow getting ready to DJ. All of a sudden, the computer shuts down because it's too hot. So we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So we scrambled. We found like a bucket of ice. We put the computer on ice and then it started working. So then we had music for that. And then, it got windy all of a sudden. And then, the canopy of the shade just blew off. So we're like, well, there goes that. Time to just get hot. We're all in this together. We're all going to be hot and sweaty together. All good. Another tip, if you're doing an outside wedding, have plenty of water, or inside. Make sure you have enough water because you want everybody to last.
That is something that a lot of brides and grooms forget, just like to feed themselves and to drink water on the day. It's a good tip.
Yeah, there was so much great advice in there. And I really love like hearing from the groom's perspective. I mean, you touched on so many points that are like very in alignment with things we talk about on the podcast all the time, from focusing on what actually matters, like those moments and that connecting with your guests. And we're big advocates of the first look too, since you get more time to actually do that. So
and also, you're going to have all your parents telling you, what you should wear, all that kind of stuff. Here's how you should do it. You got to do what's right for you. It's your day. Obviously, there's going to be some people, whose opinions are very important to you and you want to take. But at the end of the day, it's your wedding. Wear what you want to wear.
Amen. It seems like traditions weren't something you were like too worried about. Did Lex do like the traditional bouquet toss? Did you do the garter toss situation? Or were you like, we don't really care about that?
Babe, did we do the garter toss or bouquet toss? No, we forgot.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh, we had that. We had that awesome garter, right? We have it still, obviously. Yeah, we forgot. You get wrapped up in the moment.
Yeah, there's too much to do.
Oh my gosh, that's right. So we got these giant Moet champagnes, like custom made, like these giant beautiful things, and we were gonna do the knife, cork thing with the instead of doing a cake, because we didn't want to do a full cake thing. Lexi's not really a big cake person, so we're like, oh, we'll just have a Ben and Jerry's, station, and then we'll do a champagne thing. Yeah, we still have that bottle of champagne. We forgot to do that.
That can be your first anniversary celebration instead of the cake, the year later. There you go.
Yeah, babe, 1 year anniversary. We're popping that champagne. Yeah, she says, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, well, there's gonna be little things like that happen. Like that's just part of such a crazy day that there's so much going on, literally so much going on, and there was so much fun being had that we forgot to do those things.
It's amazing.
But that's the best, honestly.
Yeah.
Just picture it. It's the day of your wedding. You're getting ready with your favorite people. What do you need? A mimosa, of course. That's where Oza comes in. Co-owned by Joe Jonas, Oza's cocktails are all natural, gluten-free, and have 80% less sugar than the average drink. And with flavors like classic mimosa, peach bellini, and fizzy red and white sangria, all made with real juice and sparkling wine, there's an Oza for everyone. Listeners of the Bouquet Toss can get a free 4-pack plus free shipping on their first order. Just use the link provided in this episode's show notes. Whether your wedding is at home or at a venue, BYOB with Oza canned cocktails to celebrate your day the savvy way. And learn more at drinkoza.com. That's drinkohza.com. Okay, so I need to ask a few questions about this song that you wrote for her.
Hit me.
As a songwriter, is this something like I feel like there must have been pressure your entire life that you would be writing a song for your like did you think your whole life like, oh, I'm gonna write a song for my wedding, or was this like
Never.
no, you never thought about this?
Never. No, it just happened organically. That was never even a thought in my mind that I would ever write a song for, our wedding. The way it went down was when I met Lex and like we started hanging out, I knew it immediately. And, as cheesy as it was, I literally told her the second night we ever hung out that I'm going to marry you one day. And I knew it. Like I knew it because I'd been through this road of, great relationships, terrible relationships, okay relationships, like all, ups and downs. And I've been through everything I needed to go through to figure out like when I do meet like the one for me, like I'll know it. And luckily, I was right. I didn't knew that there was something different about this relationship. And all of a sudden that sparked, a creative part of my brain that was like, oh my God, I'm inspired again. And that relationship literally inspired me to write, new music. I hadn't wrote new music for myself. I've been writing for other artists for a little bit, but I haven't, wasn't inspired to write anything. And then after, our relationship kind of started to blossom, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get to the studio. And then I wrote this song and then I texted her immediately, like right after I laid down the vocal, I was like, I think I just wrote, the best song of my life. And she's like, oh, cool. What's it about? And I'm like, you'll find out. And the song is, obviously about, my journey to get to her and not settling for anything. The song was, is really just about like, all the crap that I had to go through that led to you was totally worth it. At the time, I didn't realize that. We all have breakups and, sad moments and all these terrible things that we go through. And we think I'm never going to find somebody else. And, maybe I should have changed, to make them a little more happy. And it's like, no, 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 no. Never compromise who you are, never change, who you are just to make somebody happy because you think that's what you should do. And that's what this song is about. And then it just made sense for us to be like, okay, why would we walk down the aisle to a song that somebody else wrote about somebody else? I was fortunate enough to be a writer and write a song about her and us. So it was kind of a no-brainer. And then at that point, I was like, why use footage and, make some fake video with a treatment that isn't real? And, why not just share our love story in hopes that this music video that is our wedding and one of the greatest days of our life, we want that to inspire, other people who maybe in a relationship that they know, isn't quite right, but they're maybe trying to make it right. Hopefully it inspires them to be like, you know what? No, I'm not settling until, I get the person that treats me the way I deserve to be treated. That's why we wanted to, make this video our love story and show the world that like, it is worth it, waiting for that right person.
That's beautiful. I love that so much. I also really love that by having the music video be your wedding and like us now knowing so many more of the details about like how personal your wedding was, now you're getting to share not only your advice in terms of relationships and waiting for the right thing with the world, but you're also getting to invite them into this incredible day that you created with like the vision that you had for your wedding being all about you two and celebrating
Mm-hmm.
your love with the people that you love. And I just love that the music video is now going to forever be like representing that for
Yeah, me
people that
too.
watch it.
And it's so cool to have something that we can show our kids and they can show their grandkids, something that'll live on beyond a video, random music video.
It's so beautiful. And I mean, the lyrics really are touching. Excited for everybody to listen to it. We're definitely going to link it in our show notes and all of that. I think it has the potential to like dethrone. Should I say this, Sari? We talked about this before we jumped on, but like, watch out, Ed Sheeran. Watch out,
Oh,
Perfect.
well,
Like
you
this,
bet.
this
Gotta knock
could
on some wood. Knock on
take
some
it
wood.
down.
Knock on some wood.
It's really good. We really love it.
Thank you so much.
We're making this the wedding song. We're doing it.
Let's do it. Let's put it out there. Let's put it out there in the world.
That's awesome. Not to like take it to this like opposite way, but
Mhm.
if there was anything that happened that maybe you would do differently based on like looking at things in hindsight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we forgot to eat the ice cream truck. We got the Ben and
No.
Jerry's. We were very, very adamant about we want to make sure we eat, because you got to, get your food in because you're so busy talking to people that you kind of forget to eat. So we're like, make sure we remember to eat. But we split a heavy-handed burger. We had the Yamashiro truck, and then on the other side, which we didn't even see, was the gastro garage, like these donuts, and then the Ben and Jerry's truck. We missed out on that. But with that being said, we had told, our wedding coordinator, in every meeting that we had at the end of the night, make sure that you go to the heavy handed food truck, which was like these smash burgers and fries, which is like one of our favorites in Los Angeles. So we're like, make sure. I don't care if there's even one guest at this wedding, and let's say the buses break down and no one shows up. As long as at the end, we get our heavy handed in our room. So that way, at the end of the wedding, after the whole night is done, me and Lex get to sit there, throw on some Love Island, and smash some heavy-handed cheeseburgers. That's how we want to end our wedding night, after other things as well. But so after we're done with everything, we want a heavy-handed cheeseburger waiting in our room. So she knew that, and after like the third or fourth, meeting with her, she's like, and we brought it up again. She's like, no, 100%. Only thing that matters to you guys is you get, your food truck food waiting in your room when you get done with the wedding. So we get back to our room, and we're there, and there was no food. So we were a little upset. Now we're in Palm Desert. This is now 1 a.m, and we're at Campa Villa, which is its own like estate in and of itself. So basically, getting Postmates or Uber Eats or any of that kind of stuff was looking real slim. There was one thing open, and it was an Arby's, and it took forever to get there. So we'd stayed up like an extra hour to get this Arby's. And Lexi texts Adam, our best man and minister. We had one of my best friends. I had two best men, by the way, but one of my best men and also the minister of our wedding, the man who just married us. Lex texted him because he was staying downstairs, like, hey, our Arby's just got here. Can you bring it up? So he does, drops it off. And then next thing you know, that was our night. And, we come to find out because, we text our wedding coordinator. We were like, we didn't want to, she did such a good job and everything went off so amazing. We didn't want to give her too much crap. We're like, you know what? It is what it is. The wedding was epic. Not even going to say anything about it. So fast forward to our honeymoon. We're in Hawaii. And the way we did our honeymoon was we did a half and a half see. So the first half we did just us in Hawaii at a very special place that meant something for us. And so we did that. 4 days there, and then we had 4 days where we had 6 of our best friends come visit us. So we had these 2 couples, and then our best man / minister, Adam Blaine, calling him out full name there because he deserves to be called out full name. Mr. Adam Blaine, who is also tattooed on my arm, by the way. He's with us. We do this boat. We had some rum cocktails. He had maybe had 1 or 2 rum cocktails too many, and he goes, "Listen, guys, I gotta come clean about something." And we're like, "What's up?" He goes, "So on your wedding night, I'm downstairs. I'm with a girl that, I've liked for a while. And, I wanted to kind of tell her I liked her, whatever. We're in the kitchen. All of a sudden, one of the coordinators walks in with this white bag, and she's walking around the house, and I see her, and it smelled so good. And it was 2 heavy-handed cheeseburgers and fries. And I kind of thought they could be for y'all too, but I wasn't completely sure. And we ate them, and they were absolutely delicious, and they were the best burgers I've ever had, and I regret nothing. What, babe? Yeah. Oh, and so by the way, Lex couldn't even eat the Arby's because she had like an allergic reaction to it. So it was already another thing that went wrong. So she didn't even get to eat any food. Yeah, he goes, and I regret nothing because it was the best cheeseburger and fries I'd ever had, and I was drunk, and it was so good. And then I realized, he got Lex's text like, "Hey, we ordered Arby's. Can you bring it? Can you pick it up at the gate?" So he's like, "Yeah." That's when I kind of confirmed that. Yeah, that was definitely for you. But
Oh.
he's like, "I regret nothing." Like, oh my gosh.
What a funny story. I'm sure you guys will
Yeah.
be telling that for years to come.
Oh, we tell everybody because everyone knows that we were bummed that we didn't get our heavy handed that night. They're like, if there was anything in the wedding that, went wrong, what was it? We're like, we were a little bummed we didn't get the heavy handed because we had told, the wedding coordinators in every meeting that all we cared about was getting that food at the end of the night, and it never showed up.
I think new plan for your first anniversary, you have to get those burgers and fries in addition to the champagne that you forgot to open on the day
Oh,
of.
it was definitely something we'll be doing again. We also decided that, yeah, every year for our anniversary, we're going to try to get everybody back together, bring that love back together in one room. Welcome to the Shit Show Part 2 anniversary. And we can finally do the champagne, and we're going to get our heavy handed that night. Adam's getting none. He's getting leftover Arby's.
Yes.
He's getting Arby's.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's got to watch us eat it.
This whole time I was like trying to figure out how to fix the Ben and Jerry situation because I was really upset for you about that. I think I'm more upset about this burger situation because like knowing, like expecting that and then not having it. Like, I'm so sorry, Lex. That's really awful.
And putting the blame on our wedding coordinators, thinking that they didn't do it. No, they delivered.
Yeah, it's a good thing you didn't
It's just
say anything.
he intercepted it.
Well, because I was going to say, like, a good kind of like savvy tip for something like that. Like, if you have something at your wedding, for anyone listening, that you really know, like, this is something we really want to enjoy, we always suggest putting somebody in your bridal party in charge of it because it makes them feel like really special that they were put in charge of like this one specific thing, right? And then they'll be like, oh, if they want Ben and Jerry's, this is my one job. Like, I have got to make sure they have that in their hands. But like, you're the man that married you didn't even seem to feel that pressure. So
another idea that Lex saw that we thought was cool for a wedding, which we wish we did, was the before and after video. The getting video of your whole bridal or groom party. Here I'm blah blah blah, and this is me having my first drink. If you're like that kind of, if it's that kind of thing. Now, if you guys aren't that kind of crowd, obviously don't do that. But we thought it was dope. We're like, oh, imagine if we did that. It was the hey, what's up? Karen. This is me having my first drink. Cheers. And then at the end, getting video of their last drink.
I love that, that like TikTok trend or whatever.
All those little things that look up because Lex found so many ideas, from that. It's so cool. It's such a cool because she's more of the social media person and she watches all those videos, and I'm not really a get online video watcher kind of person, which I know annoys her because she sends me like 6 videos a day. No, I maybe watch half of one. I know when you show me like on your phone, I watch them. Just give me a look.
It's like a love language thing, right?
Like it's for all the people out there who are aren't the social media people, have somebody check it out because there's so many cool ideas to get. And I know she was on doing the Etsy thing a lot for ideas. But you just search like just things that you love. Like I think she searched like cassette tapes or like I forget what you searched, but it was something like old school because we were we had vinyl records as our placemats because we both love music. So she searched some like music old school or like 90s 2000s, those kind of things. And he like just a tip for people who maybe aren't so great or don't have like all these crazy ideas, but like, well, I don't know how to pull off these ideas. Just search 90s 2000s what decor, stuff like that. And then all of a sudden we found these custom made cassette tape centerpieces. We just took that idea and we put dope flowers in them and like lights in them and little things like that made like the wedding unique and special.
I love that. There was really like a nostalgia kind of like vibe to everything.
A millennial's dream. Like to have NSYNC, Yellow Card, Bowling for Soup, cassettes, vinyl.
It was crazy.
It's a millennial's dream.
It really was.
I need to learn more about this champagne kegerator thing. I feel like I've never seen one of those before. That sounds amazing.
So we also had the same girls that do bubble tap. do one that is craft like cocktails. So we had like a tasting before where we went in and we talked about everything we liked. We love whatever it is, acai, hibiscus. Our favorite spirit is gin, whiskey, vodka, and they custom make these craft cocktails. And then it's the same kind of thing. It's a trailer that has that. So if you want a very, very smart way to not have a giant line at your wedding, for the bar, which is obviously the biggest things, like you're going to have 30 people deep. When people are going to the bar and ordering, an old fashioned or Manhattan or, any of these drinks that you would love to have at your wedding that you can't because they take too long to make, that trailer idea is genius because we had 3 different cocktails that we loved, that we named, and that we normally would take a bartender, 10 minutes to make, now is on tap.
Wow.
So that was a great idea. And they're doing that, all over the place now with that trailer. So that's genius. And then we also did 4 different bars. So we had a tequila bar, we had a vodka bar, we had a beer and wine bar, and then we had whatever the whiskey bar, and then that as well. So that was a way to keep traffic flowing. So there wasn't like a bunch of gridlock over there at the bar.
Yeah, it looked like you had quite a few people there. How many guests total was it?
What was the final guest total, babe? Do you remember? 367.
That is like a festival. You
Yeah.
guys had a good crowd.
That was toned down too. It was tough. It was originally, it was 600 invites, and then at some point we had to cut off. For the most part, any +1s.
Yeah, it's so hard. The guest list is honestly the trickiest, I think,
Impossible.
for couples. No matter like what size you're thinking of.
Oh my God! Just
hardest.
know that you're gonna upset, people somehow. So it just be prepared for it, and it is what it is. There's no way to please everybody, so don't try.
For sure.
That's great. So as we wrap this up, you've already given us like so many nuggets of amazing advice. But is there anything that you want to leave with, fellow brides and grooms who are planning their weddings? Now that you're on the other side of it, is there any like lasting piece of advice or anything you would like to share about the process?
If you can, try to, for me, like, I think one of the most special parts about our wedding is that we try to also keep in mind of like spending the most time that you can with each other, but also, with the people that came. So we spread ours out over 3 days. The day before we did our rehearsal dinner, we had 150 people at our rehearsal dinner. It's also not very typical, but anybody, especially if you have a destination wedding, we were like, anybody who travels, we want to make sure that they, feel that, we appreciated the fact that we know it's expensive to get there. And then they took, time to come there. So we wanted to make sure to spend time with them. So that's kind of why we did that. We did taco trucks and for our rehearsal dinner instead of doing like the typical kind of thing. And then I did a golf tournament with the fellas. It was a really, really fun, successful idea the day before. And then on the Sunday, the day after, we had a pool party. And then we went and spent our time together. So it was 3 days of getting to spend the time with people. So that was very, very important.
Absolutely. I love that so much.
Amazing. So before we let you go, can you give everybody listening all the details that they need to know about the release of Worth It, of like your upcoming music, where to find you, all of that fun stuff?
Oh, absolutely. On the socials, I'm just at Ryan Cabrera. We just started TikTok. I did it. It's Ryan Cabrera Music. So gonna start, having some fun with that, with the release. You can check out the music video on Vivo and YouTube and Spotify and iTunes, all that fun stuff. And hopefully it has as much impact on other couples as it did us, and just people in general.
We have no doubt that it will.
Exactly.
Thank you girls for having me. Thanks for having me. You guys are awesome.
You've been listening to The Bouquet Toss, a podcast brought to you by the Budget Savvy Bride. We would love for you to join us in our free private community to get support and inspiration from other couples currently planning their weddings too. Consider The Bouquet tossed in your direction so you can rate, review, and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. As always, stay savvy and stay tuned for our next episode.